All right. Welcome to Reach the World podcast. We are excited to be here tonight.
You said Reach Beyond.
I did. I was a little you said introduce us in. I'm like, what do you mean? Hi, we're live. All right. Pastor Tim Kraft here, Pastor Dennis Craig here. We are joined this evening by the amazing, wonderful, phenomenal Glen Harshbarger over to my far right. Of course, the equally amazing, yet, my fifth child, Hadassah Lane over on my left. And later on, my beautiful, wonderful wife will be joining us as well. Right. We are excited. It's going to be a good night. I'm pumped. We haven't done this for a while.
It's been a minute. Because last time
it was Logan and Sharon, and then we decided to go ahead and start a little mini revival in the church, and we was all pressing into Jesus that night, so we decided to take a week off.
That was so good too, by the way, wasn't it?
That was awesome.
It was so good. Awesome. Did you guys all gain a lot from those nights?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
It was nice to sit.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah. And so it was.
Experience it. Just really experience what God was doing. Just
it was
Spirit go.
It was very cool to be able to just like you said, just to receive and not have to go in and pour out, but just to have God just pour into your spirit. It was so good, man. So good. I was thankful for it. It was right on time too, and since then I feel like God has just been moving in big ways at the church. It's just been amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so it's exciting stuff happening. God is on the move, and I am excited for what we got going on tonight. So why don't we just go around, starting over there with Hattie. Tell us what you do here at The Reach, and
Okay, well, I am the teen director, and really what I do is I try to equip these teens with wisdom and, God's, wisdom from the Bible and stuff to go out into, the schools and things like that and show other people that they can be a light to this world, because teens, they have their own little world, their own little environment.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's one of my biggest goals, and to also pour into them and just, show them what their purpose is, and also, show them how to have that encounter with Jesus and that authentic, real relationship with God.
Yeah.
I want them to experience what I've experienced, and I want that for them so badly. So that's what I do.
So good. So good. Pastor Dennis, I think you all know him from our previous podcast and from seeing his face in the place every Sunday at Reach Beyond.
Oh, yes.
And at the church doing multiple other things. My
co-host is switching up. That Hattie did not mention this, that she's
she did not.
Be my new Reach Beyond
right
co-host.
Did I say yes to that?
Of course you did.
Yes,
you said yes as I fed you again.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna. Yeah, that's the.
I guess I can pay you back
to keep getting fed at my house.
Mm-hmm.
That's the price.
That's the price.
Okay, that's new.
Well, now you know, right? Now you know.
I guess so.
If you didn't know, now you know. And so, I think it's good. I think it'll be. I've said it before. Even remember that, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I said, or maybe I said it to Tiffany. But I said, I think Hadassah would be a great Reach Beyond host. When we were talking about doing it in the mornings.
Yeah.
And before we started doing it in the mornings. And so I do think that she will make an amazing Reach Beyond co-host.
She's so mad at me right now because I done put it out there, called her out in front of God and everybody. They're like, yeah, and she's going to be the new host.
She had no idea.
So now I have no choice, but that's probably a good thing.
We've talked about it before, but
right.
I know, what you have taught me. Every once in a while, you got to give a little push.
That's right.
When someone's uncomfortable, just push them out into that area.
That's right.
So
that's the way it works.
I'm learning from my pastor.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've noticed that a lot in the kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We don't play around either. We if we see that God is nudging you in the area, we ain't shy about it. We'll let you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Same thing happened to me.
Yeah. So now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know.
That's good. You'll be great at it. Yeah, and so she does a phenomenal job with the teens.
Really
and then
does.
we've had the blessing, and one of those true teens are actually, what are they? They're in this room right now.
They're
Yes.
producing the podcast.
Yeah.
Mr.
They're
Cam.
doing
Yeah.
amazing, and I love him so much. And yeah,
He's a great
he's
kid.
like
Good, and he's
my little
blushing.
kid.
He's
Yeah,
blushing.
I know. I've
Look
seen
at
that. Studio lighting, you can't hide it in that.
No, you can't.
There we go. Okay. So, and then to my right, we have the amazing Glen Harshbarger, who's his family's been with us now for a few months, and man, what a blessing their whole family has been.
really are.
I mean, like
Yes.
you and Tina and Brittany and Cam and man, just it's just been an amazing thing for
My
us.
little,
and
my little
Cora.
best, my little
I knew you
bestie
was gonna-
Cora.
I
We're
knew
gonna
you was
shout
gonna say
out
Cora.
my little
She's my
bestie
bestie.
Cora.
And
Absolutely.
Mackenzie. Don't forget Mackenzie.
Not Mackenzie either.
Yeah.
Cora's my bestie.
Mackenzie
just
usually, I'm not her favorite person, but she ran up, Dennis, give me a big hug on Sunday. I didn't know what to do.
Yep. See? And so, yeah, and he's got some awesome things that he had a vision that he brought to us not that long ago, and had an idea for a ministry, and it's called Helping Hands. And we're actually going to talk about that to kick off tonight. And then we're going to go into a topic that I think's very important that maybe isn't always addressed or we don't know or are not taught how to deal with it. But it's going to be about being hurt in church, how to deal with hurt within the church, whether it's from other people or whatever. And I think that's an amazing topic that we should explore.
Yeah.
But we're going to start with letting Glenn tell some of his vision for Helping Hands, some of the upcoming projects that's going on, and even what you've done lately.
Well, actually, we had our first job yesterday.
That's amazing, man.
I had a lady come to me right after service in church, and she come to me and told me that she needed some help. She had one of the biggest things was she had a major water leak, and we went out yesterday morning. Me and Damian Winters went out yesterday morning. And,
I love him too, man.
And we got to look at it. We had go get some supplies and stuff like that, and we had it all fixed by 11:30 yesterday morning.
Come on,
That's
man.
awesome.
That is amazing.
That's
and,
awesome.
When I took the cap off the water meter to look and make sure that she had a water leak,
Mm-hmm.
that dial was spinning so fast I couldn't even see.
Wow.
It was just a red thing going around and around.
Really?
And around.
That's crazy.
And so we got it all fixed. The last thing I did was looked at the meter, and that needle was holding still. I was
Come
like,
on.
awesome.
Praise God.
That
That's
is
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
So what, like how you've had this vision for some time now, for this ministry. And
Yep.
so, it's basically, you don't have to be a member of our church to get blessed by this.
Right. I mean, there's some criteria that has to be met. I mean, we're not here to do free repairs for everybody that just don't want to pay for anything.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
But it's for the the elderly, the single mothers that,
Yep.
that can barely afford to pay food for their children.
Right.
And more or less keep up a household.
And that was a
Yeah.
situation where she even said, she goes, I can get the supplies, I just don't know how to do it.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
can you help
yeah.
me out there?
Yeah.
That providing that labor,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
is.
She had been going through some things, and she was all alone now, and
Mhm.
and just was probably at the lowest point in her life.
Yeah.
For it had been for a while, and she really touched my heart as far as wanting to help and everything. So we got her to fill out an application, which I've got it right here in front of me.
Yep.
She's got several things on there that needs to be done.
Yep. Is this the one you met Sunday?
Yes.
And she was new. That was her first time, or?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Austin Ferris actually told her about the ministry,
Oh, wow.
and she come and I thought somebody was watching me the whole service, but I felt that.
Yep.
But as soon as the service was over with, I started to turn and started to go downstairs, and she met me before I could take 3 steps.
Wow.
And
That's
she, I
good.
need your help.
Wow.
That's so good.
Man.
And we've got another job coming up. for a lady on 16th Street. As soon as we can get the funding figured out, we've got a 49-foot handicap ramp that needs to be built.
Let's talk about that for a moment. So that is the thing. We would love to be able to just be like, okay, our church, we're just covering all of this, but it's not really a realistic expectation.
Right.
So we part of the vision for this was for there to be partnerships with other churches and ministries, and I sent this out to some of them actually. I want to say Sunday or Monday maybe. But anyways, because we see this as a community thing, not just a reach thing,
Right.
and
I've even gotten some mentions about getting grants as far as going and getting the state grant to help people. Talked to a lady in the United Way on
she started coming to our church. She's amazing.
Sunday right after
Sarah.
we was having a meeting, she come up to me after that. She said, look, I may be able to help you out with some of the funding. And
very cool.
That's awesome.
Look at God.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
God.
And we're really trying to help get the word out about it. And what we'll do is after the podcast, we'll post, like a graphic for it and maybe some information on how you can partner with that particular ministry. And we want to do it in full transparency too, and Glenn I love that about his heart too. He's like, we will bring every receipt to every single thing we did, and show that this is where your money went.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we'll eventually be having, once I get that application and can figure out how to create it on the website, they'll actually be able to apply right there on the app or website.
That would be awesome.
And that will send that application directly to you by email.
Yeah, yep. I talked to Ashley right after church Sunday. I said, hey, can I get like 10, 12 of these applications so I can carry them with me in the truck? And if I get called out to do an estimate for something, and I feel that, hey, this might be a candidate to be able to help out with this ministry instead of them paying out of pocket and not getting their medications for the month, or not buying food for the month, or whatever, there's a lot of people out there that actually they have to choose, and that's just wrong.
It is.
It is wrong.
Yeah.
There's so much help out there, but there's not enough information for people to be able to understand what there is out there.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. It just touches my heart to be able to go out and help somebody and say, look, this is being done for you.
Yeah.
Without any cost for you, because Jesus loves you.
That's right. And that's the whole purpose of it. Right. It's to just show, because we always talk about at our church community transformation, we want to see our city transformed, and that looks a lot of different ways, like we've talked about before. That doesn't only look like just having these big revival or something like that, and
it's everyday things.
It is practical things.
If you could share Jesus every day, doing everything that you do, I mean, how else could you not better the kingdom?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And we want to explore like all of those ways that we can impact the city,
Right.
And this is one of those amazing efforts. And so I just want to say, thank you to you for like being obedient to what you felt the Lord putting on your heart, because I know through that effort there's going to be a lot of people that's blessed. And so
no, absolutely. Looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to the camaraderie with the people that's signed up to help.
Yeah, and do you have a pretty good amount of people that signed up so far?
I've got about 15 on.
Come on, man.
That's awesome.
God couldn't have picked a better person to do this.
That's right.
I mean, I can really see it in your heart and in your eyes, and
Well, yeah,
that's awesome.
I've got tears rolling down my face now.
I know.
That's amazing,
I love
man.
Now, Tim, you signed up, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
No,
I signed up to hand Glen the sheets after they signed up.
Yeah, I did not sign up. We've talked about it before,
Yeah.
that we love that the people that are in our church have that physical
That's why it takes the body of Christ together.
Because
Yeah.
we will build up the body spiritually because we can't build anything physically.
Yeah,
Dennis,
this is true.
I've already told you this before. You know, you could do all things through Christ.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey.
I could do that.
That's right.
He just got
He
you.
got
there,
you on
Dennis.
that one. You know, it's funny because there is like this blessing of, you know, you could see in practical ways the way God works in spiritual ways, meaning, you know, when he gives us this picture of the body, you know, like there is parts like we, even within our body at the reach, you know, there's people like yourself who can handle things that other people can't. And then, you know, it's just like every person's role is so crucial, and there's not one more important than the next. And so, like, we had, you know, a list of stuff, just maintenance stuff, you know, that we needed done around the church. And yeah, it was like, you know, we felt like if me and Dennis looked at it, we'd be like, yeah, maybe in 3 weeks we'll get, you know, could get it done.
No.
2 hours.
I'm gonna look at that and be
2
like,
hours.
Yeah, we
You
probably
know,
ought to fix that. And I walk away from it. That's all I would do. Be like, yep, probably fix it.
It was funny how this all got started. Though was, you know, I met Micah in the hallway downstairs after church one morning, and I said, "Hey, Micah," I said, "I hear you're, you know, head of the maintenance of the church." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, I try." I said, "If you ever need any help,
Yeah.
you know, let me know." Well, I got home 30 minutes after I got home, the phone rings. And it's Micah saying, "Hey, you can have that minute. You can have that. It's yours."
Mike is like, it's so hard for me to give up.
He
but here
was
you go,
ready
buddy.
to give it away. He was,
So
yeah.
Like I said, you know,
Yeah.
you mention something, or and it's like they kind of just push you over the edge.
Yeah.
Yup. You say one little thing, it's like, here you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly
But,
right.
You know, that's just part of God's way of doing things.
Man, and
Always.
It's an absolute blessing. It is.
that is, man. And it is just like, it's a picture of like the way God works too, because, you know, it wasn't long after you guys started coming, you know, that you was like, man, I have this, you know, burden on my heart I want to do for the community. And it's just, you know, that's, we're big on that too. We're big on like helping people find their purpose and then giving them a space to operate in it. And so, yeah, man, it's just been a blessing. And I just want to say thank you, because that is such a, just a special calling that, you know, to have the heart to go provide these things for free when, you know, other companies, you know, will charge for it, and rightfully so, you know, workman worthy of his hire. But at the same time, like, you know, just for you to have that heart to want to go serve in that manner. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So, and if you guys want, Helping Hands is the name of the ministry. If you want an application, you can actually reach out to us on whatever platform you're on right now. But if you go to the app, and you can email on there, or you can send us a message through Facebook, and we would love to get you connected with that so you can get the help that you need. And remember, they don't have to be a member of our church. It can be anyone in the community that has this need. So we would love to be able to bless the community in this way. Community transformation, man.
Yep.
Literally.
The thing is, you know, it doesn't matter if they know Jesus or not.
That's right. Yep. They don't have to be a Christian.
But you know, we want to get a chance to have a little transformation going through the city.
That's right.
And it shows Jesus' love. And the next thing you know, maybe they'll be coming to church.
Yeah.
Or going to some church.
Yep.
And learning who Jesus is.
That's exactly right.
This may sound strange. Someone said it to me the other day. Said that everyone that Jesus ever ministered to or healed was not a Christian.
Right. Exactly.
So why should we be any different?
That's right. That's right. And that's the whole thing about laboring, you know, not with people that's only just like you know, like not being so closed off if they're not identical to you, to be able to run with them and accomplish things. So, yeah, I love that.
It's not the Christians that we need to try to get.
That's right.
We need to go out into the streets and into the cities and
the healthy don't need a doctor; it's the sick.
Exactly.
That's right. And that's it's so true, man. It is. And so, before we move on to our topic, is there anything else you'd like to say about Helping Hands, Glenn?
I think I've been doing pretty good.
You've done a great job.
Yes, sir.
Amazing job. And so before we did, though, there's a couple events that we have coming up that I think we should just briefly mention. We have March 18th, we have what is going to be our second ever block party,
Nice.
Reach the Streets block party.
Excited.
It's going to be so good. And so,
I didn't get to go last year, so
Yeah,
like
I'm looking
pumped.
forward to that too.
yeah, it'll be
I was
fun.
looking forward to go last week to just the
To reach the streets, yeah. And did we get those dates swapped on our calendar? It's on our app and website. That's what people's been going by. And we have our men's and women's Bible study are on the off weeks, and then Reach the Streets is on the off weeks of what's on there. So,
I think I fixed them.
okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. So
I know I fixed the Bible studies, but I was waiting on to
Yeah.
hear what day we were definitively kicking off Reach the Streets. And I've been in
Yeah.
conversation with Dave and Tashara that, especially after the block party,
yeah.
they have decided it's going to be every single Saturday 3 o'clock.
Okay.
It's not gonna
Okay.
alternate.
Come on.
Wow.
That's
Let's
awesome.
go. That's okay too.
Dedication.
That
Straight
works.
through the summer then.
Yeah.
Dedication.
And that's one of the best times when the weather's warm and there's a lot of people out. It's a great time to go in and go love the people that's out on the streets, or even oftentimes we've talked about this before. When we think about that, we only think of like people that's maybe in poverty or like drug addiction, but there's a whole city of people that need to know Jesus. Regardless of their economic status or their addiction problems, there's so many people, and we never want to be limited to that.
Just think about all the people that takes an evening stroll around the city park every
Yep.
day.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
Well, I've
And-
always said there's just as many unsaved people. And if you're familiar with Parkersburg, you understand what I'm saying. There's just as many unsaved people going down Washington Avenue as there are on Lynn Street.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
The need of Jesus is not based on how much money you make.
That's
it's
right.
not based on how big your house is. It's based
Amen.
on it's a spiritual wealth.
Yes.
And
Yep.
That's something that you
That's
deal with.
so true, man. So we would love for you guys to come and join us. It's from 2 to 6 p.m., March the 18th. And there is, if you go into our app or our website or our Facebook page, you will find information about this event. It's on Lynn Street at 1226 Lynn Street. We would love to have you come. We have free food. We have music by our worship team. And so it'll be a fun time, man. We can't wait to see you there. Resource tables will be set up, so we'll be able to hook people up if there is people there that need help right on the spot. We'll be able to hook them up.
It's going to be awesome.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Yes.
Where is that exactly? Is that like a church parking lot?
No, it's at a
No,
house.
It's at a house.
Yep.
Okay. We was discussing that at dinner this evening.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna-
it's
Yep.
a big lot right beside the house, and I'm pretty sure they got permission from the city. They're shutting down that
The whole block
of Lynn Street.
will be shut down.
So people will
Awesome.
be able to move
Yeah.
freely in that area.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
I grew
There we go.
up.
Here, I got it for you.
There's always just one guy at the end of this that's really annoying, right? Yeah, did you hear him? He's like, yeah. And so
We'll make
Told
him
that
do
dude
one.
to
You
be
can
quiet.
clap all you want to. He just likes to push
I know. As soon
buttons.
as I
Yeah.
start
It's the
clapping,
technology
he's
part.
gonna be
Yeah.
putting it on.
As I said. That's fine.
So, and then we have High on Hope, the movement, coming up on May the 13th, and we have some really exciting news about that. It is going to be going back to the original location of the first one ever. It will not be at City Park unless the weather is just absolutely terrible, and it will be at
PHS Stadium Field.
Come on.
I'm so
Awesome.
pumped.
Wow.
I was going to say,
That deserves that.
I'll be able to step on the field for the first time practically since I was the Big Red Indian in 1994. I was the mascot at PHS. So that's a big deal for me going
It
back
is.
home.
That's
I was married and had 3 kids by 1994.
My wife's a little salty
is
about that because she was a Patriot growing up. So she's a little salty about it, but I'm excited.
yeah.
I'm not going to mention where I was.
Yeah.
Oh no, where you were in 1994? Don't talk to
1994.
me. Don't even talk to me.
Were you conceived yet?
She wasn't even a twinkle in her mama's
No.
eye in
Yeah.
1994. Don't talk to
This
me
is
right
true.
now.
And so
You know I have to go there.
go on there. Go on there.
That's okay, co-host.
Yeah. So you know what's really cool about it is that the first event we had was there, man. And what a beautiful thing, because we haven't had it this would be like the 4th year, in 3 years. So here we go back to where it all started. And that was not only the kickoff to High on Hope, the movement, but it was the kickoff to High on Hope, which in turn led us to the Reach United, which in turn led us to here. So, like you can basically say we're going back to where everything started. And that's it's awesome. Like we have some cool, amazing people. My friend Andrew Hager will be there. We will have this amazing rapper. His name's Nicky Gracious. He'll be there. Nice. And so our worship team. And then we have like Indy from High on Hope Beckley coming up.
I love Indy.
Yeah. And so it'll be fun. It'll be really fun. So let's talk about our topic for a second, and then Tiffany and Glen are going to be tagging in and out. So let's get into this for a moment, and we'll start with Glen, and then because I'd love to hear what you have to say about this before we and what we're going to do too is we're going to put up the phone number for you guys if you want to call in and you have a story about this and how you've dealt with it, and sometimes it's still undealt with, I've noticed in a lot of people. So we're going to talk about like how to handle hurt within the church. How do you handle hurt or church hurt even, how do you cope with those things? How do you deal with them? And how do you allow them not to, because listen, I'll just be transparent. I have to oftentimes, guard my heart because just being a pastor.
Absolutely. You're at the head of it.
Yeah.
And all the bullets is flying towards you.
That's right. Yep. And I
can understand that.
Yeah. So I have to guard my heart, and people will hurt you. That's just the nature of it. And you have to know that going in, or it'll destroy you. But so it's like how have you in your story or your past dealt with that?
Well, I've had some church hurt. Me and my wife both. I tried to deal with it in a Christian fashion. As to it says in the Bible if someone hurts you or speaks against you or whatever, you first go to them.
That's right.
And if that don't work, then you go to the higher ups in the church, and then they have a meeting with whoever or whatever. The first thing that should be done is to try to work it out with that person. If you try and nothing ever happens, or you get a bunch of promises and then you just don't. It doesn't come true, or it doesn't follow through. Then I would say the best thing for you to do is just pray about it and see what you think, what God thinks you need to do about it.
That's right.
As far as, you may leave the church and go find another church. Or, one of the worst things to do is just stop going to church altogether.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that happens way too much, too.
It does, absolutely.
Because of hurt, people,
And a lot of times it's not the church that hurts at all. It's an individual.
It's an individual.
Or just a misunderstanding.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's true. And that's good. And I think that's great advice. And what we'll do now is we'll do this, I want to see y'all actually do the tag too with Tiffany and Glen. Glen, thank you so much, sir, for everything that you do. Woo! And I think that's great advice too. So
Great tag.
that was a good tag.
Y'all might not have seen it, but the tag occurred.
It was good. It was a good tag.
That was
a good tag.
Listen, y'all, it feels really weird to be on this side.
I know.
Really weird.
Now, don't be distracted. Don't be looking over there.
Why?
Stay in. He just does it.
I just like
random
I just
ones
like
now.
messing with people. I just like messing
He's
with
like a little
random
kid.
ones
He's like,
now.
let's touch
He
this.
loves
how
pushing
can
buttons.
how can I push buttons? How can I push buttons?
I could give you lessons.
Oh,
Push
trust
buttons.
me.
Sure
Believe
Trust me, we know.
Sure could.
Believe this. Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah, that was
So,
perfect.
Yeah. So, hello, ma'am.
Hello.
In case you guys don't know, tell everyone your name and what you do at the church.
She kind of cute down there, you know.
Oh Lord,
So,
Kind of cute.
it's
my
not,
name
it's not
is-
Facebook dating.
Just saying. Kinda cute.
So my name is Tiffany Craig, and I am Dennis Craig's better half. I am the media director, the creative team director, the transportation director, and the administrative assistant at the Reach.
Amazing.
real.
So, yeah, Tiffany,
And
We-
I'm also Pastor Tim's assistant.
which is a full-time job all in
Yeah,
itself.
it is.
Don't
For
forget
real
that.
though.
Yeah, that is a.
It's gotten a lot
real
easier.
though.
We've synced our calendars now, so
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to
it's
keep him on
a
task.
lot easier.
There we go.
Yeah, I very rarely get distracted, but you know it happens every now and then.
You know that liars go to hell,
Jesus, bless him, Lord.
Yeah,
bless
very
him.
rarely.
Well, I won't dish out what happened earlier. But
Yeah, about me
Some
forgetting my
deliverance on
kid.
that.
Yeah.
That text message was the greatest, though. I could hear you saying it because you spoke it into Siri because it said "listen," and I could literally hear your voice in my head when I read it.
I'm not proud to say I had to run over, and I had this all mapped out in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bank, and then I'm gonna go pick up Remy from Brittany, and then I'm gonna get back to drop him off and meet Hadassah and Anthony, and then there'll be time for the podcast, and then I got all the way back to the bridge, and I was like, I think I forgot something.
At least he didn't call me this time and be like, "I feel like I'm forgetting to do something."
Yeah,
Well, I have no patience. So 5:32, I was like, "Where are you?"
yeah.
Yeah, she messaged me and she's like, "Where is he?"
Oh, I know. And then, so it was definitely, one of those things. You know.
Oh, Tim, Abby Ferris says that's my best friend. Both my besties at the table. I didn't know she felt that way about us.
No, she's
didn't
literally
either.
talking about
I
me
had
and
no
Hadassah.
idea.
Nice
Sweet.
try.
No idea.
Nice try.
Yeah.
We love you too.
She tolerates
Brittany
you.
said Hattie is Cora's peanut butter.
She did
Yes,
say that earlier.
I'm telling you guys, she's
Peanut butter to your jelly.
we are besties.
Is that
She's
what
it is?
my
Excuse
friend.
me.
Aw.
Well, we're besties, but she's my.
You know she's a
best-
child, right?
I know.
Mama
gonna try to find a
Kraft is
child.
logging. Mama Kraft just logged in.
Hey,
Mama.
Mama Kraft.
She's my favorite.
Hello.
Don't tell her about what I just said. Hopefully she came in
Nope,
after
not a
that.
word.
So guess what?
I'll never tell on you.
No, it's funny when we were planning this topic today. I sat down and started thinking through because we've talked often
Ooh, we got a phone call.
about the fact. Do we really already? I didn't hear the ring.
It's Gavin Wise.
Gavin,
Okay.
nice. Now is that him calling in? Or
Hell-
calling you?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Hello,
Gav,
you're on Reach
Gav.
the World.
Huh?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah. Well, you
buddy.
didn't know, did you? We're right in the middle of the podcast, buddy. You're actually on the podcast right now. So just be mindful of that before you proceed with any.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Gavin.
Hi, Gav.
What's up, everybody?
4 of your favorite people right here.
Right. And
Okay.
so, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good, man.
He's
Good.
like, this was not what I was
We had the
expecting.
phone
As
lines
you're
open
speaking
for
to our
calls.
audience.
And I looked at it and I was like, I just wonder if this is, a call. So, man, tell us something good before you go, and then I'll give you a call back after this thing.
I love everybody and God bless.
We love you,
love you,
buddy.
buddy.
We love you, Gav. Well, and I'll hit you back in a bit, buddy.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye.
That was funny.
I was curious. I was like, I don't know, maybe.
But I was laughing because when we were talking about this topic, that I sat down today as I was driving,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, church hurt. And, we joke around about my age a lot. And, I've been in ministry. I've been either youth pastor since I was 22.
Mm-hmm.
And
So since you were about
have
Hattie's age.
experienced every ugly thing.
Yep.
I was laughing, say the last church. Who is this one?
I'm not sure. We'll see. Hopefully not a telemarketer. Let's find out.
That's gonna be funny.
Welcome to Reach the World.
Guys,
Hey.
Who this?
this is Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Hey, Donna.
What's going on?
I love you guys.
We
We
love
love
you.
you.
Yeah, we love
We
you.
miss you, girl.
I know. So listen, I wanted to just share something today.
Yeah.
Since Gavin hung up, bless his
ahead.
heart.
Go for it.
Okay, so I've been struggling with like my relationship with my daughter's dad, and I realized that sometimes you just have to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
That God doesn't always fix things right away,
Right.
but there's lessons for yourself in it also.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And I want to say this. I was praying and talking to God about him having a relationship with Laura, my daughter, our daughter,
Mm-hmm.
like I have with her, because he would be like impatient and not play with her and stuff. And then yesterday it started, like literally an hour after I prayed. He fixed the lag nut, put on the back of the bike. Some of you guys seen it on my Facebook, but and then today, like he was shooting a BB gun with her, and it's just
That's so
God's
awesome.
unfolding chapters
Oh,
and
come
peel back
on.
That's
layers
good.
from him. It's
Good
like
stuff.
playing right in front of my face, and it's so good.
You
That's
know,
so
one thing
beautiful.
I've
Awesome.
learned, Donna, is that we as human beings want that instant gratification, and sometimes God makes us wait
Yep.
for a reason.
Yeah,
Always love hearing these praise
His
reports.
timing, not ours.
Yeah.
And
So
listen, it
good.
drives me crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
yeah, it does me too. I took after
Crazier.
Mama Charity, and I said, Lord, better come get your boy.
Yep. Come get your boy.
Yeah, that's good. I'm so happy to hear
Yes,
that. God
it's
is
so
faithful.
awesome.
Yeah, and you've been and I heard you guys even went to church last week. That's amazing.
My mother went with me, and it was so exciting.
Yay.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
That's
so good.
awesome.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
The pastor came up to her like, God said that you want to be healed. And literally, we didn't even have a sermon. It was just deliverance, the whole sermon. Holy Spirit took over, and pastor went with it. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Love
Look,
That's
he's laying
amazing.
hands on my mom.
Yeah.
That's
Come on.
awesome.
It was so good.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, we love you very much, and we're really proud of you. And
Yes, yes, we
man,
love
I
you.
just it's just been a blessing to watch everything God's doing and has done in your life. So, yeah, Donna, we just want you to know that we love you. I can't wait. We can't wait to see you again. We hope we see
Yes,
you really
yes.
soon.
Yeah.
And
Let's
one
just hope
day,
next time you don't get stuck in the grass.
stuck in the mud, we'll talk about.
Hey, I have a God bless me with a truck now. So I won't get
Woo!
stuck.
Hallelujah.
Yay.
Yeah. There. That. See, we don't even need the button
Yeah.
anymore.
I'm great at it.
But can you do this one?
Wah, wah, wah.
I can do it great. You don't need those buttons.
Hell no.
Just
We
cue.
just have Hattie here with a mic over there every podcast. And so,
Yeah.
okay. Well, listen, we love you, and we'll see you very soon, okay?
Yes, ma'am. We love you.
Yes.
Love you, kid.
Also, if you guys want to join the group, I am free, and just post stuff, encouragement for people. It's on my Facebook.
Okay.
A lot
Sweet.
of people have joined it, but it's just
I am
encouraging.
That's awesome. So you can go to Donna Prince Facebook page and
I am
join
free.
that group.
I
Yeah.
am
I am
free.
free.
as well.
I like it.
Amen.
Send
I
me
love
a
it.
link.
Okay, Donna, we love you.
Love
Love you,
you.
girl.
Love you guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so go ahead.
So with a lot of it, a lot of that church, the thing that repeatedly in my head over and over and over again is that the church had nothing to do with what hurt me.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
Come
good.
on now.
It was the people.
You're still
It
on
was an individual. It was an individual that may have had a problem with my personality, and that's shocking. But they
Right.
may have had a problem with my
What?
personality.
Shocking.
Or frankly, the first church I was a youth pastor, I was 22 years old. I
Yeah.
had
It's a
no
baby.
business being.
Yeah.
I had no business at that point in time because I was not. There was no spiritual maturity in this 22-year-old.
Right.
And it's possible that some of my youth are watching this, but I'm just saying that it was crazy that the things that I saw happen that later I was like, well, I'm never working for a church again. I was done. Tim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you all found me and I got connected to you all, I was done
Yeah.
working at churches and being a part of ministry. And because I kept blaming, it's the organized church. It's
Right.
the organized, but
Yeah.
it's not it. It's always been people.
Yeah.
And then I think back to it and I think about those people, and every single one of them were miserable in their own self. So they
right.
then focus that misery on me.
Yep.
And it's a repetitive
Yeah.
cycle
That's
that will
good.
not stop till you stop it.
Yeah, that's actually really good because it is always the people, you know, within it. And unfortunately, and this is one thing that I think is a hard lesson for some people, is like, you know, when a lot of people, they're like, well, these are Christian people. They should be, you know, they shouldn't be doing
Christians
this. They shouldn't be
aren't
gossiping. They shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
Well, the reason they're there is because they need a savior.
Yes.
And so that's the whole point of it, is like, there is going to be brokenness where a place where broken people gather. And so whenever someone's broken, just, you know, expect people are going to be broken.
And I jokingly always say this when in True Disciple, that the number one rule of people are dumb. Like, they just are, like, we as people.
Nicely
people
said.
in general,
Nicely said.
Yes.
People in general are dumb, because you know what? If we think back to those moments when decisions were made that led us down the negative path, it was we knew better and chose otherwise. So if you that's just
I
being
get that.
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not being. So when we go to a person, it's the same. You know, why do people fight? Because they can't come up with a more logical solution. So they fight. It's because of that level, and we're the same way spiritually. If someone spiritually hurts us, we lash out.
Yep. That's right.
You know, I think
Truth.
I learned a very valuable lesson a few weeks ago, that you always vent up.
Yes.
You know,
It's a great lesson.
because the moment that you talk to someone that you're not venting up to, it becomes gossip.
It is, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And you have to guard against that, because what sometimes you start as a vent can end in, you know, complaining.
Yep.
And so, and then complaining usually turns into what? Gossip.
It's
Yep.
such a slippery slope, and
Yeah.
it's so easy
Yeah.
to get caught up in it and not even realize until you're like, you reach a point in the, you know, gossip or the conversation, and you're just like, I took it too far.
I
Yeah,
can
what
tell
just
you,
And all of a
happened?
sudden, it dawned. Like I'm
It
going to say
dawns.
this. I love these two. I've heard them do that to themselves. They'll be talking, and they will both. It'll click, and they're like,
Yeah.
"We need to stop."
Yeah.
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 Listen,
And but they police themselves. Very
Yeah.
proud of that.
when I
Yeah.
got sober, so I worked the 12 steps to get sober, and my biggest glaring character defect was gossip. You know, I lived at the fellowship home. I was on staff restriction for like 4.5 months because I couldn't behave. And so I literally knew what was going on with every member of that house at every moment of every day, because I wasn't allowed to leave the house without staff. And it took me, I'm so grateful. I had an amazing sponsor. Her name is Jennifer Stuckey when I first got sober. And like without her, I probably wouldn't have had the foundation of my recovery. And I was very upset with myself a few weeks ago because I worked really hard to get away from that. And so it was a very good eye-opening lesson for me about how easily you can fall back into it.
Yeah.
Because I never want somebody to feel the way that I did in that moment, knowing that opening my mouth could have been detrimental to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what often, you know, the Bible even says that gossip is like honey. It's like so enticing, you know, and it's so, you know, like it is. You overhear something, it's like, oh, let me get in on that. But before you know it, you know, like it's literally ripping people apart. And I will say this. It's my belief that it is the number one problem that's wrong in church.
Yeah.
I think that it's also an issue because I feel like it's a validation type thing too.
Yeah.
Like if you already have a resentment and you start, you know, going out and gossiping, you want that, you know,
You want people on
validation
your side.
that you're
Yep.
right and that other person is
Yeah.
wrong. And I think
I'm mad
that's
about
what
this.
really
Shouldn't I be mad
grasps
about it?
people.
Did you hear what they said? I should be mad about
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
I get that.
And-
I've done that in my personal life, and it's hard, you know.
I'm really
Yeah.
grateful to have the relationship I do with my pastor, because
Yeah.
I have learned that to vent up, and he's up.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing too. Like it's one thing to have an issue and be able to talk about it, but it's like you have to know who to talk to about it.
Yeah.
And that's where wisdom comes in. Like, okay, I know if I have this problem with, you know, Hattie, I am not going to go to Tiffany and vent about it, right? Because all that does is it begins to immediately divide. The moment those things are released, it just begins to pull apart the thing that's supposed to be unified. And
Well,
so
I'm grateful that your advice always, the first thing you always comes out of your mouth is, have you talked to them about it? Because literally what happened a couple weeks ago, if I just would have went to that person instead of to someone else,
Yeah.
it all could have been solved very quickly.
Right. Right.
And Tim, what's funny is Pastor Tim and I have talked about this, that we have a relationship that if I say something or if he says something that bothers us, I don't tell my wife even. Like, I will go just to him. No one else knows about it.
Yeah.
And it's when I think we just had that conversation the other evening where I was like, I'm venting up. Right now I'm venting up.
Yeah.
And because that I trust that that's where that conversation is going to end.
Yeah.
And and there have been times where you've come to me, you're like, I just need to talk about this. Listen. And I listen and we're done. And it's done.
Yep.
That's the part, and that's the other part is this. The thing about gossip and slander is that it will never stop.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll just keep going around and going around and going around. And why does it seem to me Christians are really good at it?
Very
Right?
good
They're
at it.
subtle about
Yep.
it. It's this. I need you to pray about something.
Come on now.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Glenn sitting back there. Glenn
That's
grew
right.
up, and I'm not hating on this, but it's true. Glenn and I both grew up in United Methodist churches, and there were two things you could guarantee you would hear in United Methodist. Well, two things you do in United Methodist Church. You're gonna eat. We can cover this dinner with the best of them. And the other one is, if you sit in the back row amongst all the open, you're going to get every ounce of gossip on anybody in the church if you need it.
Yeah.
And they would do it in the sweetest way.
Oh, yeah.
They would tell you something about somebody and go, and then what would they say? But bless their heart.
Yeah.
It's okay. The Lord's
Listen,
gonna do it.
I'm guilty of doing that.
And I've done it.
I need you to pray for
I'm
this
telling you
person.
this
Women,
for
it's hard
prayer.
with women.
Yeah.
For prayer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to call women out. Like,
Come
it's
on now.
really, and I'm not just trying to hate on women, but it is. It's a women problem. It really is. For the most part, I feel like it's a women problem. And yeah, I don't know. I think also, like, I've been in situations where I've walked up in a church and there was like supposed to be something else going on, and it was like a whole gossip session, and you're just like, wow. It makes you like sit back and you're like, do I want to like be a part of this? Because what are these people saying about me when
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Come
in the
on
room?
now.
Yeah.
And so it's scary,
Yeah.
you know?
It's true.
I'm not
So-
going to lie. I've had that thought multiple times in multiple different churches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
And it's crazy because it's like then when it all comes to a head, right? And then it's all kind of confronted. What is so clear that isn't clear in the moments of gossip is this. Wow. Like I could have hurt that person's whole
Yes.
life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that thought never crossed my mind. I need to just go talk to this person.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It never once crossed my mind until it was pointed out to me. Well, the Bible says
Mm-hmm.
you go to your brother or your sister.
Yeah.
It's a
And
learning process.
It
and
is.
You were
Yeah.
able to do that within the church and learn that, and that's amazing.
yeah.
There's no better way.
Because
Yeah.
one thing that I'm adamant about, and it will happen, like it either will or we will be shifting things. Like we will have a culture within our church where we hear something like that and we just stop it.
Yeah.
And we say like, no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not going to happen here. We're not allowing that to come in.
Accountability.
Yep. So if you
Yeah.
got a problem with the person, I'll be glad to sit down with you with the person, but we're not going to do all this behind the scenes stuff. And so that will be the culture that we develop. And so because I've just watched, that's the number one attacker of churches, right?
Yeah.
Division.
Yeah.
So how does the enemy divide? Usually it's by little subtle things that just
Right.
tear apart. And then that's where hurt comes in, right? I would say for the majority of people, that's where hurt comes in. Yep,
Yep,
that's
that's
right. That's right. It's either open or closed. So
I just had a download. I think,
Uh-oh.
and no, it's a good one. Is that why is it that people are so sensitive? And also, does it seem like to me like the person getting gossiped about, or being talked about, or things that happen to that person? Like when we're in a church, it's like we're hypersensitive to it, and it hurts even worse. And this is why. Is that 99% of people, when they first try to get into a church or they first go and visit, the first thing they're looking for is acceptance for who they are.
Yeah.
Now, and if they're coming there and they don't really yet know who Jesus is and know the acceptance of God, then they're looking for that acceptance from people.
from
Yeah.
people.
And
Yeah.
so when they walk into a place where gossip is happening and they
Yeah.
can see the looks that they might be getting if they're not dressed a certain way or
Yeah.
if they act a certain way, then that immediately breaks
Mhm.
that spirit within them. And so then they have this thought. They're like, well, if that's the way these people act, I don't want nothing to do with this Christian thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what runs people off.
Yep.
It is. Like, it was like in this very sobering moment, it's like, okay, this is why people leave churches, right?
Yeah.
This is why people get hurt and run. And so, like that's, and then they blame, like in spiritual immaturity, they look at God and they're like, okay, well, that's a representation of God. I don't want no
Right.
part of God. And
Yeah.
so that's where it gets really sad. And so,
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about the type of church hurt where you're really actually hurting yourself. The church isn't doing anything to you. You're hurting yourself.
Hey.
I had done that. Right? Well, I know for me, I'm a very much so a person to internalize things. Every little detail, I'm going to take it and I'm going to internalize it. And the enemy knows that and is going to take that and use it against me. So I know that I was going through it was over a year ago. I was going through mental health problems and I'm like, so-and-so hasn't checked on me. Blah, blah, blah didn't check on me. I guess I don't matter, and
Yeah.
I just allow
Yeah.
the enemy to make those lies. So then I have this church hurt, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's their fault. They don't care. And that's
Yeah.
not true. Everyone
Yeah.
once I finally got back into church and I realized, wow, life is busy.
Yeah.
When you have a social life and
Yeah.
you are working within
Yeah.
the church and serving God, it's easy to,
That's
get
so
caught
good.
up in life.
Yeah.
So for anybody that feels that way, if you're watching this podcast, I promise you, it's the enemy just coming to
Yeah.
attack. It's,
That's what it is.
I've had issues with that. And I've also had issues too, where someone's like, and I have to sit down and it's really a look at myself problem. And I've really been able to do that lately. And it's been life-changing for me. Where I was told, at a different church, you can't be in this ministry or serve in this ministry because you don't fit this criteria. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I know this area better than you do.
Right,
and I'm
right.
going to be honest, I really do. But
Yeah.
because I had to live and walk through it. But I was hurt by that. But then I realized, I wasn't probably in a good spot at that time. So I have to sit there and really think those things through once I get over it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
Well,
that makes perfect sense.
The enemy also does not like to let us ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Truth.
I mean, I'm not a confrontation kind of person. I absolutely hate it.
Me too.
And asking for help is literally one of the hardest things to come out of my mouth.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And it's like, I think that's a very valid point too. It's like, you can almost feel like if you want to, well, they have not called me.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, have you been around?
Right.
Have you reached out and
Have
asked?
you reached out?
tried? Have
Yeah.
you made an effort? And I think finally when I came back, into the church, there was a lot of people that, that really did truly care and love me, but I never tried to have a relationship with either. So how can I expect, people to try with me if I'm not even going to put my hand out, and say, hey, I need this.
Yeah.
How is anybody supposed to know? And people aren't mind readers, they can't know.
And I'll be, the first to say, it's very hard sometimes, like as the pastor of the church, to keep this. And I try my best to do it, but
Right.
real recognize when well, so and so hasn't been here, and
Yeah,
I do.
Don't take any guilt on for that because
No,
I'm telling you.
No,
For sure.
go ahead. So I
No.
want to say that. Let me hear that one more time.
He needs validated.
Here you go. Here's your validation. Don't take any guilt for that because there was, people that did say, "Oh, hey, why aren't you here?" And I
Right.
did make excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I'm busy, but I'm just it's like I almost was fishing at that time. I was fishing for somebody to say, "Oh, Hadassah, what's wrong? Come
Right,
here."
right.
Poor baby. And I'll be honest, that's what I was fishing for at that time. And when I didn't get that, it became resentment and,
Right.
Well, I guess they don't care
church
about.
hurt.
I guess they don't care about me.
That's what
Yeah.
happens. They
Those
don't care
Christian-
about
those
me.
Christians.
Don't feel
Yep.
guilty about not keeping up with anybody. That's ridiculous for anybody to think that, you got hundreds of people to,
Yeah.
Not that they're not loved or cared for because they very much are, but it's hard. So, and I get that.
Yep. And that's the part that, trying to be mindful of it, but also, also also realizing, like, okay, well, you know what, my pastor, he's human too, and so
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me. I'm going to jump in for you on this because these things need said, and this is one of those moments where they need said by someone besides the person that's going through it. As someone that knows this, no one understands how crazy this man is in his schedule. In his schedule.
I know.
Oh, I
What
do.
mean is in his schedule. The fact
yeah.
that, and I want you to think about this. It's kind of like I always joke around when I meet new people at the church, and they'll give me their names, and I'll apologize. I'll be like, I am probably not going to remember your name next week, but I will the next. You just got to give me some time because they've got one name to remember. We have 206.
Yeah.
It's the same
Right.
idea
Right.
where, I would say all told, we've probably got close to about 200 people that come to the church off and on.
Yeah.
So he's trying to keep up with and pour into and check on 200 people.
Yeah.
If you don't make a need known, it's not going to be met.
200
right.
people.
That's another
So minimum 28 people a day.
Yeah.
In addition to trying to be a father to his children and a husband to his wife, and the fact that, and I love y'all, he's not getting paid for this.
Yeah.
We do not
Right.
pay him a salary. This is his volunteer that because he feels so strongly about it that, and it frustrates me because people will leave the church like, well, I'm just not getting fed.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting fed there. Well, the problem is everyone wants something different, and that's the other source in a church of church hurt is I'm not getting enough. It's not this kind of spiritual enough. We're not seeing enough of manifestations. We don't have enough Bible. We don't have enough worship. We don't have this. We don't have this.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I'm a buffet person. Like, give me 19 different kind of cuisines. I don't need just steak.
Yep. That's right.
I don't need just of one thing, and it drives me
agree.
crazy when they say, "I'm just not getting fat." Well, the problem is you've been eating too long. Now you're fat, and you need to start serving somebody
that's
else
right.
for
Come
once.
on now.
I
Come
totally
on.
agree with that. You have people that are saying they're not getting fed and that there's needs here and needs here and needs here. They come to the church for a year and then they never step in to help
Yes.
fill any
Right.
of the needs that are
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear 4 different hats at the church.
Right.
Do I love it all? No. But there was a need for someone to take over transportation, so I did. You know what I mean? Eventually one day I'll be able to give that to somebody else. But, I feel like when you see a need and you feel that you're not getting something,
Yeah.
that's the perfect opportunity to step up and say, hey, so I see that we need this.
That's right.
I mean, just like Glen's a perfect example of that.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
saw a need and he said, let me step into that.
Yeah.
And Hattie jumping in with teens.
Yeah. There was a need.
Like
I
at, that,
love
at the
them
be-
so
but
much.
at the beginning,
you
because
do
at,
awesome
at the
with them.
first part you were like, and then you were like, maybe I could do that.
I'm telling you, I saw so clearly one service.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I wasn't even like necessarily praying like, Lord, show me who the next teen,
And
director
you told
is.
me, you said, I'm telling you, I think Hattie's going to do teens
Yeah.
next.
I
You
looked
just
over
mentioned it.
during worship, and I so clearly heard the Lord, and He said, "There she is," and I was like, "Huh."
I have
Never even
such a
considered.
huge vision for them, and I'm not trying to get off subject that we've talked with.
No,
that I've talked
talk
to.
about that.
Oh my goodness,
Dude, we had a blast bowling with all
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
we had a bowling night too.
I
with our
actually
teams.
got Dennis to chaperone.
That's
Hey.
awesome. I know it was great.
It was only because it was my son's birthday, but
Well, I'm telling you what, like, I just see the teens almost having like their own church.
Yeah.
As far
Yeah.
as, you know what I mean?
Like their own church service.
Yeah,
Yes.
their own church service. I'm talking worship,
Yeah.
everything.
I love that.
I think I really do. I really see that. And I just, man, I'm just so excited. I really am. A lot of these teens, I have a heart for them, a lot because I went through a rough childhood and being a teenager. I mean, I was a mother at 16 years old. Like, you want to talk about, some crazy stuff. It was hard. And as a teenager, I didn't think that my parents really understood what kind of world I was in or what I was dealing with. Yeah. And so I kind of just like want to relate to them as far as I understand the world that you're in.
Yeah.
And I remember that because I had a rough time there, and I didn't have God. I didn't have somebody to sit there and say, listen, Hadassah, get your head on straight.
Yeah.
Like, you're acting a fool.
Yep.
And so, and show me what God was all about.
Yeah.
Nobody ever showed me, like, really what God was about and what the love of God was.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a, my grandfather tried, but, I was very rebellious. But, it was just a very, and when I went to Christian school, and it was just like, you have to follow A, B, and C, religion.
Yeah.
It was just religion.
Yep.
And so I just couldn't take that anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody actually showed me what love was. It was just, you're wrong, you're bad. You're wrong, you're bad.
Yeah.
And so I want to show these teens that, I'm going to tell you not to do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
But it's because I literally love you and I don't want you to go went through what I did. So,
and it's not out of this, like, religiosity. It's out of, like, love. Listen, you shouldn't go down that path because I've went down it, and this is what happens.
Well, we just had our lesson on discipline last Sunday, just like even being disciplined and getting into our word, and those having that relationship with God, and also how sometimes parents, when your parents discipline you, it's not out of, most of the time it's not out of rejection or hatred or just wanting to be mad. It's usually from a place of love. And so we got to go really deep into that last Sunday, and it was beautiful. And I love my teens with all my heart. So,
yeah,
for sure.
You definitely do an amazing job with them. You really do. And it's like
my oldest doesn't just connect to people. Kaylin's got all my sarcasm and sass, and so she puts up this wall, but she loves you. Loves you.
Our kids are a little biased, though. That is their Aunt Hattie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a general statement that the kids do love Hattie. Look at Cam shaking his head. He's like,
everything you just said about the kids, everything you just said about that translates to that topic tonight. The fact
Don't it,
that
though?
all the growing up, it was way more prevalent, I think, in our where it was. Nope, you follow this rule, this rule, this rule, this rule, this rule, this rule, and then you'll get to go to heaven. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. And so that's what I was thinking. I had this thought last night on my way home. I love my Mondays because I get like this quiet time with the Lord, whether it be before the sun comes up or after it goes down on my way back. And so last night I just had this thought that you just have to expect in ministry in general, or leading anything, that you're going to be attacked, and you're going to be, like a topic of, like conversation or, ridicule or, because everybody's married to their opinion. They're not married to the truth. And so what happens is when you're married to your opinion.
Say that again. Oh my.
Let's go.
Shoo.
Yeah.
Need that on a shirt.
Yeah, I know. So what happens is when you're married to your opinion, everything is at the expense of your preference. And so it's not about the purpose of the church. It's about your preference towards a certain topic or how you would do things, or this is not the way I would do it. The style, this is the person I would have there, and this is how I think it should be done. Well, if that's the case, then go start your own church and do it. And so it's like, but I know that going in, right? So you can't allow it to like rob your peace, because you do have to have thick skin, because people will do it. And I know that, man. I've been the topic of conversation for years, and
you will never make everyone happy.
Never. And so it's impossible. So the point is that if I'm pleasing unto the Lord, then the right people will be pleased around me.
Oh, I meant to send a meme to you today, and it was like, it said that Francis Chan is a pastor. He's a great pastor. He was talking. He said that this guy walked up to him after church and said, I really wasn't that happy with the worship today. He goes, well, that's okay, because you weren't the one we were worshiping.
Oh, yes. Come on, here.
Right? And I'm like, oh. And
there they are.
True. Like, people are like, I'm just really not happy and pleased with the way you're doing things at the church. Well, that's fine, because you're not who we're trying to please. Is it glorifying God?
Right.
Is it edifying the body? That's all we work with.
Dennis's tagline.
So,
that is my tagline.
Yeah. So many miss purpose because they're looking for it in their preference.
I love the realness and authenticity of this conversation, and just
what was that word again?
I can't.
Listen, I will say.
I bit my tongue. Okay.
I will say that I was raised in church, right? And, I was raised in a Pentecostal apostolic church growing up. I didn't wear blue jeans until I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I didn't cut my hair, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that growing up, like, I was afraid every time I got in trouble because I was going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I never had anybody, like, talk to me about purpose and calling. And it wasn't until, I've been in many churches as an adult. And, none of them ever felt like home.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came to the Reach, I think it was the second or third week.
Yeah.
When you were in the park
Yeah.
and you were an outreach ministry.
Yeah, we're an outreach.
And
Not a church.
a
Not a
couple
church.
weeks later, you asked me, hey, I need someone to just record the live stream
Yeah.
for me. And never in a million years did I ever think I would be the media director and the creative team director because, and I used to say this all the time, that I'm not very creative, but I'm good at managing people, but that's not true.
That's right.
I'm still learning and I'm still growing, and I'm grateful for you because you pour into me and you take the time to say, so when I send you a graphic or something, you're like, well, maybe try it this way. And you explain why I should try it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very grateful for you because I wouldn't be who I am today. My husband and I probably wouldn't be married. And I wouldn't get the opportunity to serve the Lord like I do. It's a big deal to me.
That's so good.
And
That's so good.
And this
Thank
is,
you.
And that's what's funny is that people can find peace, regardless if they've been church hurt before.
Right.
The last church that I was a member of,
Yep.
I was told flat out, I'm sorry, you can't sing because you were divorced at one point.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right,
And then,
right.
You can't serve in our kids
Yeah.
ministry because
Yeah.
you had an open CPS case and a felony on your
Yeah.
record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're,
Which I would
all
never
those kind of
serve in
things
the
where
kids
I'm like,
ministry.
well, okay, but that's fine. If God wants me to worship, I'll worship.
Yeah.
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 Next thing I know, I get 2 weeks into it, I get a call. They say, hey, can you just come sing one Sunday? That's all I was going to come, by the
Is
way.
one Sunday.
Oh, you was just going
I'm
to come
just gonna
sing
come
one
sing
Sunday?
one
I didn't
Sunday.
know that.
Just one Sunday.
I
I'm just gonna
did.
fill in and help
Wow.
But you know what's cool about that is God knew we needed you guys before we did.
sing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was before we hit where we separated.
Right.
And, I'm sure between Dennis and I, we drove you and Abby crazy because I was working for you
no.
at Brandy's Legacy at the time.
Yep.
Oh,
And
I remember those
Hadassah
days.
remembers
Yeah.
those very
We
well.
have grown
Listen,
So much.
listen.
Day.
I was just thinking about it the other day, like thinking about where you and I were when we first
It's
met.
like, I mean,
And
it's
like
seriously
we're literally
emotional.
two totally
it really
different
is.
people.
You guys are. I knew
Because-
both of y'all then.
I mean, if y'all knew our private conversations, they were not.
I mean, who'd have
holy.
thought?
So, I mean, from where we were to where we're
Yeah.
at,
I
like,
didn't even know you that well, and you're like, hey, I need help moving some stuff. I'm like, I got you. I came and I
Yeah.
helped her move. We didn't talk for like 6 months, and then she
know.
walks into the church, and
life
That's all
changed,
she
man.
wrote, man.
My
Yeah.
whole life changed when I actually, put my, like you would say, Pastor Tim, where my what do you say, my heart posture.
Yes. Your heart posture.
Where my heart posture was when I came in there, and I wasn't just coming in there to, friends fellowship. When
pretend
I actually
Christian.
right, when I
Right.
actually came in there and was like, no, I really want this.
Yeah.
That's where everything completely changed for me,
Yeah.
and man, it's been
That's good.
amazing since then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's
Real.
and it looks like before we have about 4 minutes. But I do want to say, like, to all three of you sitting here, like, none of you are the same people I met, 2.5 years ago or
No.
whatever,
Right.
3 years
it's
ago.
been,
What
about 3 years.
yeah, and so I just had a reminder the other day about like when you shared the first time at High on
Oh
Hope,
my goodness.
and it was when we were still over at downtown Bethel, and so and I thought about that, and even when we first started the Reach, like we try to pull you in so many times,
Oh, she
and
was
then
not having it.
I
No.
know.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is the first time Ashley Baker got it set up for me to come speak at High on Hope, and I remember right after I spoke, Pastor Tim and Pastor Abby were like, "Hey, you're gonna be like, I don't know why, but we just know that you're gonna be a part of our lives, like in a, the long term. And I'm just like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
I really felt that so strongly. It was weird because like you don't say that stuff lightly. Like, hey, listen,
Right.
I know. I just feel like the Lord's you're gonna be a constant in our life.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so
my yes to serving at the Reach has literally given me 2 best friends that I never never knew I needed, a family that isn't blood that loves me unconditionally.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people forget though that, sometimes it can be hard to come in and fit in.
yeah,
So like my suggestion to everyone is let us love you where you're at. Let your guard down a little bit. There is nothing that you're going through or have been through that one of us has not been through.
that's true.
Amen.
That's true. It's funny. What we're going to do is this is going to probably automatically shut off on the live stream at 8:30, but
It'll still keep.
we are going to go ahead and we're going to keep recording it, and then we're going to post the remainder of it to YouTube, because I feel like this is really good conversation, and I
Yeah.
think
It
it's
is.
important to see it through, because there's a couple more things I think that we should hit on. And so I was speaking to someone this week, and they told me that at their one of their previous places they were at, that they weren't allowed to be in certain positions because they had been divorced before, and so they weren't allowed to be like leaders and stuff like that. And so I just thought about that concept, and I was like, if it really is true what the Bible says about us being new creations in Christ, then why would we hold someone's past over their head as if they're not qualified because of what they've done? Then that is not what the Bible says.
I need the buttons.
Yeah.
Listen, Hadassah, I just want to tell you, you're doing something right
There we
with the
go.
teens, because I just got a message from my child that's homesick.
Uh-huh.
He sent me a picture, and it says ramen and the word, and he is watching the
Oh,
podcast.
look at
It
that.
makes
The
me want to
teens.
cry. It gets me all excited, guys.
Come on.
Poor little
That's
buddy
amazing.
has strep.
Yeah.
But when you were saying that, I always go back to this, but David was an adulterer.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
The woman at the well, man.
Moses was a murderer.
Yep.
Come on.
Noah was a drunk.
That's right.
Saul was a murderer.
Come on.
That's right.
Pick any of them that you want.
Peter was jacked up as all get out.
All of them. All the
Yeah.
disciples at one point, Matthew betrayed his entire
That's
people.
right.
Sinned against those 613 rabbinical laws.
Did it disqualify?
Not
No.
even once.
And I thought about David immediately when I heard it. I was like, okay, so David had an affair with this dude that was his friend's
Then had dude
wife,
killed.
then had him murdered, and guess what? He didn't. God wasn't like, okay, sir, step away from
God
the kingdom.
said, "You're a man after
Yeah.
my own heart."
Yeah, I will forgive you. So it's like, who are we as people to think that we're qualified to say what other people should do or shouldn't do? Who do we think we? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so it's one thing to say like, I feel like you're growing into this role, and I'm going to empower you to get there. But it's a whole other thing for me to come in and be like, I don't think you should do this because of my opinion.
It's
Your
an
opinion
image.
don't matter.
It's
Yeah.
an image thing. It's totally an image thing.
It's
we
religion.
want to look like this. Yeah, religion, image. We want everything to look like this and put it in a box. And to be honest, Christianity is not a box.
It's
Yep.
not. No.
Loving Jesus and
and
is not a box.
Yep.
I want you to show me the perfect Christian.
Oh,
Show me, please.
Show me, please.
Even the perfect pastor, there's
Yeah.
not one. And so, that's where I think, like, one thing I never wanted to do, man. I was like, okay, y'all heard me tell the story on Sunday. Like, I was not, pastor wasn't at the top of my list of things that I
Yeah.
thought I'd be doing in my life. But I did tell the Lord, like, if I go into this, I don't want to turn into some religious person that's very judgmental and like spiritually arrogant. I want to remain like relatable to people. I never want to think that like I'm too good to talk to. I just made this promise to the Lord. If I do it, I'm gonna do it with just being the authentic me, and that's the culture we'll have. And I'm never gonna fall trap to living up to expectations of other people. I'm gonna always just follow what He says to do, regardless.
Yeah.
And so that was the culture that I desired. I do believe we have that. Yeah, I believe
on.
that, and and Glen agrees with us. He's
Hey.
Glen,
you wanna tag in? I gotta go to the restroom.
yeah, come on, tag back in, Glen, tag back
Sorry.
in.
Come here. You got to do the whole. You got to do
Glenn's
the
coming in on
There we
feedback.
go. Tag.
And it's something that sincerely a lot of people don't realize is that you don't have to like everything about your church.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
That's
I mean,
right.
there may be some things that happen that I'm just like, why is that happening? Why are we doing that? But it's not going to make me leave.
Right. Right.
Just because I don't like the way something is done
Yes.
doesn't mean I'm going to leave. Like,
Well, what
every
that's
church I've ever been in, there
Yep.
was something about it that I'm like, yeah, this isn't right. But
Yeah.
I'm going to stay. This is where God's planting me for this season.
Yep.
So I'm going to stay here and bloom where I'm planted.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, so it doesn't mean that God doesn't shuffle people around, right?
Sure.
But if we only go in under the assumption that I'll be here as long as they do everything I
The way
think
I
they
want
should,
them to
Come
do,
on.
yeah.
then we're setting ourselves up for failure
Come on.
because we're never going to find that place.
Right.
I have
Right.
literally grown more as a Christian being a part of this ministry than I have the first 30 years of my life. Like, it's amazing because every leader that is part of our ministry is willing to pour into you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's and that's one thing I've really lately I've prayed for. I've prayed that we would have people raised up, and I see it right here.
Yeah.
Look, sitting with us right here. Strong men of God raised up, strong women of God raised up. That is wanting, desires to pour into other people's lives, and so I see that in that season coming, man, because we're getting a lot of new faces. Big influx of people.
Yeah.
We had, I don't know how many new people we had on Sunday morning.
Well, I know that in the morning service we went through 16 of our first time
so that
guest
means we had
gift bags.
16 brand new people.
I don't know how many were left after evening service because I did 8 more, but I don't know.
Yeah. So that's 16 people in one day. That's brand new. That's never been there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, as God sends people, that also means we have to have leaders step up, right?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't
Right.
work unless we have strong leadership.
So let's talk about this term, baby Christian. So explain to me what makes a baby Christian, because in my eyes, we're all Christians. We're just at different levels on our journey.
Yeah, and so
I hate that
I
term.
would say if we do that, then we could say we're all baby Christians,
Yeah.
because I don't think you ever have this fullness of. Now that isn't to say that you don't grow into deeper things, and like
there becomes a spiritual maturity.
there becomes a
about you.
spiritual maturity,
Right.
and you go from, the Bible talks about, from milk to like eating meat.
How long you've been a Christian
Doesn't
has
dictate
nothing
that.
to do with your qualification of
Thank
serving
you.
God.
Thank you.
I hate when people say, "Oh, they're a baby,"
Because
Christian.
all 12 disciples weren't Christians when
Yeah.
Jesus called them.
That's right.
Right.
They didn't know him.
Nope. And then
It didn't require him. He walked up to them, pulled Zacchaeus out the tree and said, "Come on.
yep. And
Don't even know you from Adam, but come on.
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now." Moses walking in the wilderness and hello, and if we want to get all biblical on it, the people in the Old Testament didn't know who Jesus was.
Yep.
And God called them.
Come on.
And so it's like, okay, so if that's the case, that means that we don't have, this. I think what happens is humans in a religious system is that someone feels like they need to be the god of that system.
Come
and so
on.
it's like, okay, well, they got to look like this, talk like this. They got to have this long saved. They got, you know what?
Yeah.
Time doesn't equal growth.
I've been on the board as long as there's been a board.
Yeah, right. Yep. And so time does not equal growth. So we can't dictate, someone's spiritual maturity based on, well, they've only been a Christian for 2 years. No, that's not true.
I
If
mean,
they
it's-
sold out their life and they laid their life down,
It's
guess
a
what?
little different when you see them blatantly living sin out in their
That's,
everyday
that's
life.
a whole other
different
topic.
story.
Yeah. I believe that, as long as people are like, devoting themselves unto the Lord, man, God's going to use them.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how long they've been a Christian. Tell me about the fruit that's in their life.
Come on.
Absolutely.
You can't
If
deny
they,
that.
If they
Yeah.
are producing fruit, then just sit down and shut up, because we're going to use them for the kingdom.
Yep.
That's
I got
right.
the magical one on that.
Yeah, you
That was
did.
nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
I
That was
can tell you
nice.
one thing about this.
Yes.
I've said I've been a Christian for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in the Methodist church.
Hey, Glenn, move your mic over.
There we go.
There you go.
How about I move over to
That works
There you go.
too.
you know, Grew up
Yeah.
in the Methodist church,
Mm-hmm.
but I've grown more since I walked into the Reach United.
Come on.
We have a pretty pushy
Damn.
pastor.
Let me tell you something. He preaches to me every Sunday.
Yep.
Yep.
And it hits
Don't you
me-
love that?
It hits my heart every Sunday.
Come on.
And it's like he's preaching right straight to me.
Yeah, I feel that.
Amen.
Get
Yeah.
off my toes, bro.
Absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. And for that reason, I am where I'm at right now.
I mean, I
And
was in church from the time I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
I was at Vacation Bible School at 4 years old, but I didn't start fully living a life for Jesus till I was probably late 20s, early 30s, you know? And I didn't fully step into purpose till almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
So don't, you know, how long you've been, no, that just,
Yeah.
okay.
It doesn't mean
Doesn't matter.
anything.
Don't mean it.
I started at age 55.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
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 That's right. You know,
Yeah.
the
Just-
thing is, I believe that so much of that, what Glenn just said, is there's so much truth in, like, okay, seeds can't grow unless they're in the right environment, right? Unless the environment is, you know, like if it's good for growth. And so often, whether them seeds are in there or not, it matters where they're planted. And so it's like, you know, we're those seeds. And so it's like God's got to get us into atmosphere sometimes that's conducive to our growth.
Yeah.
And he'll do that. He'll put us around people, around, you know, churches that will allow us to grow into who we're called to be. And I do love that, Glenn. That really touches my heart because that's our whole heart, man. Like, I desire so badly to see all of us find the fullness of who God made us to be because,
Well, that's the whole purpose.
yep,
It is. That's the whole purpose for doing what you do.
yep.
And it's absolutely awesome. And I could see it not just in me, but I could look through the room.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
the Angel Harbors girls.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's standing around. There's not been a Sunday that I've been there that half the church hadn't been at the altar.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know what I mean?
I love that
Growing up
too.
in the Methodist church, I might have seen 5 people my whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
We
Yep.
didn't really do altar calls very much. growing
No,
up. No.
Yeah, and that's I love that because it's not, you know, I love that because we developed a culture where it's okay to come up and seek God, and there's no shame in it. You know, a lot of times I think
I used
people
to feel,
don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I used to feel like, oh, I'm a leader in this church. I can't go up to the altar,
Oh,
but
no.
that is not
They
the
should
case
be the
at all.
first ones at
Yeah.
the altar. Yeah, and so it's like there's been times literally where I've just been like, okay, I need to get down here and pray too. You know, like in
Exactly.
this moment.
I've seen you on your knees.
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that is absolutely, you know, we're just human.
Yeah,
We're
all
just
of
human.
us, no matter what role.
Christian people or just people too.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And we've got our faults just like anybody else
Yep.
does.
Yep,
You know,
and that's
we all fall short of the glory of
every
God.
single day.
Yep.
And I think that's the key. That's important is that we do. And so, you know, so like I think too, you know, part of that too about the hurt topic, part of that as we, you know, we'll get ready to press it home, but part of that, what I believe is key to that is communication.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like it's not the reason hurt grows within, you know, even the church body is because things aren't communicated, right? Or they're communicated to the wrong people and
Yep.
it doesn't bring solution, it brings more problem.
Yep.
And so it's like if we could just get to the place where we do only what the Bible says about a situation.
Yeah.
Like if we felt offended, if that we go to the person that offended us and say, "Hey, this offended me because," and so I think that, you know, evidence of the Holy Spirit is boldness, and we have to develop that in our life in order to not walk around wounded or feel like our feelings aren't valid, you know, like, well, you know, and then you shove it down, and then really what's doing, it talks about don't let bitterness take root,
Right.
like root in your heart, which means that like it's gripped it, and so that happens. I believe that if the quicker you can just get in front of it and communicate it, it's over. It fixes it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the biggest things that I think of when we say that, you know, we've been hurt and we need to go and confront that issue is how are we confronting it?
Yeah, that's
You know?
right.
Are we going in it with an angry mind
Mm-hmm.
and doing it in the worldly way?
Yeah.
Or are we doing it in the way that Jesus would do it?
Come on.
We were talking about it one night that a lot of it depends on what atmosphere you're setting. Where when
It's a
you know,
mindset.
and a lot of the backgrounds that a lot of the folks in our ministry come from, a lot of our folks in leadership, like we joked around and said, a lot of them come from a recovery background, a lot of them come from that street mentality.
Yeah.
So like
Right.
Yeah.
if
Exactly.
somebody offends one of them, everyone else is like, what? Let me,
Yeah.
let me come at you.
Yeah.
Let's take
Whereas-
us to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Exactly.
we are now we need to shift that.
Yeah.
Right?
And I've said it before that, the greatest evidence and fruit of the Spirit is love. So, and I've said it before, what would the world be like? What would the world be like if, you offended me, right? But instead of going, well, now I'm going to offend you back, you know what? I'm just going to love you anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to,
Right.
because you're offending me, or you might be doing something out of my own misunderstanding, or you may be hurt and that's causing you to lash out. So I'm just going to love you. That is my absolute decision that no matter what you do, I'm going to love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is that when you take that stance against, whatever it is that's in front of you, any situation, like I've dealt with situations, recently that's like, I can either react to this circumstance and allow my emotions to be what guides me,
Yeah.
or I can just say, you know what, man, it's fine. I love you. And so take the high road. And so,
Stand on the word.
stand on the word.
you go.
Yeah.
Stand on truth. And you don't have to defend yourself in truth. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
there's not a need to go dispute every little thing said when you're walking in truth. You don't have to go be like, well, what they say, I didn't do that. You don't feel the need to do that because God's defending you anyways.
Yep,
He even
that's
says
right.
it, let vengeance be mine, not yours.
Yeah. Right.
Don't you go out here trying to take revenge on people because you're mad. Let me handle it. And he always does.
Yes, he does.
Every time.
Yep.
Yeah. And
good,
so
dude.
that's good. It's been
That's
a
so
good,
good.
it's been a good time tonight. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I feel like this, like these are getting just better and better every
Listen,
single
I
time.
will say it's very awkward for me on this side of the camera.
Well, you did great.
You said that several times.
I
Baby,
I like being behind the
we
camera.
need-
That's why.
Hold on. Honey, you did great. We want to validate you in your
Thank you.
giftings, and you're stepping forward in faith.
I'm trying. I'm trying to
You
be
are. We are very proud of
to
you.
get out of my comfort zone because you can't grow if you're
Hattie's
not
doing the same
There we
thing.
go.
Hattie's doing the same thing when she becomes the co-host of Reach Beyond. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, that'll be good. So you guys this Sunday morning be on the
Tune in
lookout.
at 10 a.m.
10,
Yeah.
baby.
And maybe even
Hattie and Dennis. Love it.
maybe even there you guys bring Glen on, let him tell us a little bit more
There you
about
go.
Helping Hands Sunday morning.
Show up 10
And-
Sunday morning.
Yep.
10:10?
Yep.
They'll be
So,
in the sanctuary by
Probably
the
about
speaker.
you might want to get there a little before 10:10, but
yeah, they start at 10:10.
Hey, we're religious about starting from
10:10.
from the house at,
Yeah.
at about 2 minutes till 10.
There you go.
There you go.
And we're not that far away. We're usually there by
You're more than
6 or 7
you're
hours.
more than
That's
welcome
good.
to join me at
That's good.
7:30 when I get there on Sunday mornings.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love getting there and being the only one in the church.
Yeah.
It's nice and peaceful, and it's a great way to start my Sunday
it is.
morning.
It is. Listen, there's times I'm there alone, and I'm telling you, it's just there's a lot of peace in that building.
There
And
is.
The presence of God is everywhere we go, but I will also say the presence of God in that place is such a peaceful place.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you and I
Yeah.
spend the most time alone in that building.
Yeah.
I mean, with us both, with
Yeah.
me working there, and now sometimes it makes some really.
I
creepy
usually
noises,
spend some
but
I usually spend some like late nights there, but usually on Fridays, and I'm there like digging for what the Lord wants us to have for Sunday, and it's good times. It is. It's fun. Well, okay, this has been good.
It's been
yeah.
good.
And I just found out
Brittany
that
said-
it may shut down on the app or website, but
it
apparently
stays
on
it's
Facebook.
going on
That's cool.
Facebook.
Cool
That's cool.
beans.
Brittany said, just be there at 9:30 when your grandson and I get there, Dad.
You have to talk to your mother about that.
Yeah. Libby Stewart said, you did great, Tiff. So
I
glad
love
you
you,
watched
Miss
this
Carla.
podcast. And let's see here. Abby Kraft said, I have the hottest husband in the world.
I don't know. I beg
Huh.
to differ.
She did not say that.
Oh, wait. Did she not?
Yeah, I beg to differ.
I must have missed.
But I see that you did say you saw your beautiful wife.
I did say that.
That's good.
I did say
like
that. I was waiting for my affirmation back, but it never came.
Oh, yeah.
And doesn't.
Yeah.
That's because she's too busy realizing he forgot my child earlier.
Yeah.
That happened. He's still doing it.
We get 2 of these for that one.
You're going to have to deal with that when you get home. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to the phone call. Pastor Dennis, could I come sleep on your couch?
Well, the good thing is,
He can sleep on his couch.
Abby's
at
laughing
church.
now.
He
Yeah.
can sleep on the couch.
I
at
have a
church.
couch in
go.
my office.
There you go.
So it works out great.
Just let me know if you need me to turn the heat on later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm supposed to get down tonight. So, yeah. Oh, you see this comment?
I
Read
did-
that comment.
He
She
is
just
the
put-
hottest.
Come on now.
She does what she's told.
Hey, listen, when someone fishes for compliments, you just going to put her right on the
You
hook
gotta
for
put it
him.
on
That's
there.
good. That's
put
nice
it
of
on
you.
there. She gave me the affirmation I needed. So this has been absolutely amazing
Yeah, it's been
tonight. We're going to do this, as you know, every other Tuesday, unless we decide to press into the Lord. Like we
I'm
did
ready for it. Let's do
couple weeks
another
ago.
5 days of revival.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
let's go.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm telling you, God did so much during that time.
I needed
he really
it.
Did.
I definitely needed it.
We love you guys. Thank you, Hadassah Lane.
Nope, it's Atkins.
I keep doing
she
it.
is married
Whoa.
now. We were
Atkins.
literally
Anthony, if
at
you're
her
watching,
wedding.
I'm
That was
sorry.
At her
bad.
wedding.
And so, yeah, come over here and say
Thank you,
bye,
of course,
Hattie.
My beautiful wife, Miss
Yeah.
Tiffany.
Bye.
And thank you, the man, the myth, the legend that is Glen Harshbarger.
Glenn, we love you.
And thank you, Cam, for
Thanks for
producing
having
for us tonight.
Yeah, you rock, kiddo.
buddy, you did amazing, buddy.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you Sunday.